This should have no impact on the ability of people to file their taxes on time. I would anticipate, HHS has said that they anticipate that they'd be able to send these updated forms in the next couple of weeks. So there'd be ample time for people to file in advance of April 15th. So we're talking about a very small fraction of people who are affected.
Well, another day, another Obamacare blunder. This time, the Obama administration sent 800,000 healthcare.gov customers incorrect tax forms. And with me now, beating Obamacare author, Betsy McCoy. Betsy, it now seems like there are three things in life that are certain: taxes, death, and Obamacare paperwork.
That's right. This is death by paperwork. If you thought that paying taxes was complicated before, this makes it into torture. This is the H&R Block Full Employment Act. And the mistake this week just shows that this is too complicated even for the IRS.
Now give us some details on what the mistake is this week, because it does affect 1 million people, despite the administration trying to downplay the number of people affected.
Form 1059 is supposed to go out to everyone who received an Obamacare subsidy, and you use the numbers on that form to fill out another form, Form 8962, a form that has 12 pages of instructions. Everybody has to fill that out who's gotten a subsidy or wants an exemption. Just to give you an example of the nature of this form, at one point it says, if you checked the no box on line 6, or your filing status is married filing separately, and the special situation described above, situation 2, does not apply to you, then you can skip columns A through E and go directly to column F later. I assume later means after you've downed a couple of margaritas.
And I paid your accountant hundreds of dollars and spent lots of hours of your hard-working time. And our time is worth money too, by the way.
Well, yes, and it's not just taxpayers who are being killed by this paperwork. It's physicians, everyone who works in a doctor's office, and employers who are being suffocated by it.
Well, what's your best advice moving forward, though? Because I have noticed that the Obama administration is not saying that there won't be penalties for people who might file late as a result of their error. And again, we're talking about 1 million people here. We're not talking about just a few, as the administration has tried to downplay. 1 million people are victims of this, and the government being too big to actually do it the right way.
That's right. And now the government is saying there are already 29 reasons to get exemptions, but for most of them, you have to go through filling out all of this paperwork. So I'd be worried about developing a nervous twitch or drinking too much as you make your way through this paperwork.
Well, as we knew when Obamacare passed, that the big insurance companies would get more money and that tax attorneys would also be employed for longer hours. What do you think is the amount of time that attorneys are going to have to spend, and IRS officials and accountants, figuring this whole thing out?
Well, I think for the average person, Obamacare adds about 50% to the time you already have to take doing your taxes. You've probably noticed on your regular W-2, there's a new box, box 12. They said, don't worry about box 12. That doesn't mean your on-the-job coverage is going to be taxed. They just want you to know the value of what you're getting on the job.
They can study it later.
Don't count on that one.
Right, so they can study it later. What implications does this have down the road for next year when more Obamacare regulations go into effect next year, the year after that? Of course, it's just going to get more complicated.
Well, and we know that already this is roiling labor negotiations, because in 2018, a special tax rolls in for people who have high value, expensive, generous health plans, and many of those people work for unions. They've given up wages in the past to have these generous health plans, and now they're being ripped away from them.
Cadillac tax is coming. Betsy McCoy, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. And tonight at 10 p.m., right after this show, a Fox News reporting special hosted by Bret Baier looks at some of the Democrats who hope to stop Hillary Clinton's presidential quest, including an exclusive interview with former Virginia Senator Jim Webb. That's Fox News reporting, election 2016, coronation or confrontation, ? 10 p.m., so stay tuned. And make sure you log on and send us your thoughts on tonight's show. You can tell us what you think on Facebook and Twitter at Judge Jeanine #Justice on Fox. That's it for us tonight. And remember, you don't ever have to miss justice. Just set your DVR and tell your friends to do the same. Thanks for joining us.